Hello, welcome back to Just Another Football Podcast, the last of the season that finished a long time ago now, and the Euros about to start. We will look ahead to the Euros. We will award our short kings. We gave you the chance to vote, and you did. Some of you did. And I have the results literally right in front of me right now. And we will have the short king awards at the end of the episode, so stick around. But George is with me. Stash day, George. Always looks good on you. Good to see you. Fergal, last time we were joined by Fergal, he was in a hospital bed. Huge amounts of dedication. And he's done it again. He's in a different bed. The hospitals.
I'm in my own bed now, thankfully.
Yeah, thank God for that. Your hospital stint was over. And now you're back home all settled?
Yeah, I finally got my surgery. 12 days in hospital it was in total. All went well, thankfully. Very little pain afterwards, which is good. And now just on the mend. But I'm still back in bed. It's just the easiest way of keeping the leg elevated, really. All good otherwise.
There we go. In the words of Rishi Sunak, you're looking forward to all the football.
It's a great impression.
Thank you. Midway through that impression, I decided to carry it on in English. It was awful. Okay, here we go. Ireland aren't in the Euros, which is why I thought of this line. He asked a group of Welsh people, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
England are definitely, obviously, in the Euros. And that's why I think both of you are looking forward to England the most for very different reasons. Mm-hmm. This is our natural starting point, I think, because I find the England squad to be a bit messy. There's too many different moving parts here and a bit of uncertainty, bit of lack of chemistry. It worries me about them just from a very surface level. Do you share the same sentiment, George, or do you feel like, you're going to be fine? It's just a matter of, getting the group to play together that first game, and it's an easy group, and you should be good. Go get to the knockouts, let's say.
I mean, squad wide, I wouldn't say a lack of chemistry is a problem. I think where you get that from and where the core issue is lack of chemistry in very specific positions. So I still don't think we've got a back four that has any coherence or chemistry that really works. And actually, to be fair, Stones and Maguire probably, you could have said, might have had that, or at least fairly consistently played previously. But Maguire's injured. That second place spot, there's not really anyone I think is a dead cert for it, and I think that unknown is worrying, because I think you do want to go into a tournament knowing your best 11. You other than that, I think very quickly, for example, we'll see a Rice and Gallagher, because I'm pretty certain Gallagher will play alongside Rice. And those two both at Chelsea together, I'm pretty sure those will develop. Kane will play every single game unless it's not needed. So his chemistry with the attacking midfielders should get better. I don't think it's a bit of an underwhelming squad, but maybe that's because it's kind of predictable, and then sprinklings of, I guess, underwhelming sort of shock players, i.e., I like Dunk in the squad. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Dunk it looks to me a bit.
It almost epitomizes it, doesn't it? I think
it kind of. Lewis Dunk epitomizes the problems that England have for me. Yeah. I felt like the obvious replacement for Harry Maguire is Jared Branthwaite. He's actually left-footed,
yes,
which gives you a real elevation in terms of the building out of the back aspect of it. And Lewis Dunk has been off form.
Yeah.
So it's strange to me. I feel like the center back situation, the defensive situation as a whole is worrying. Kieran Trippier just came back after a bout of injury, after what was his worst form probably in his career.
Yeah.
And he's the first left back option because Luke Shaw is actually still injured. He's still getting back to fitness after a long injury layoff, to the point where United's left back was actually a right back, but played left back and got player of the season, Diogo Dalot.
Yeah.
So it tells you everything I think about Luke Shaw and his kind of availability. Where is the obvious Mark Guehi is... Yeah, sure, could be the second. I would say I would start Mark Guehi, but...
Yeah, I would as well.
Once Guehi's out, it goes a peg or two down. So the back four, if you're going to play Kyle Walker, I would start Trent personally. But if you're going to start Kyle Walker, and John Stones is going to play every minute, I think, then possibly Guehi and Trippier. Like, that is not that doesn't... If I'm an England fan, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
No.
Given the context of each of those players. Kyle Walker being a bit of a liability, like a bit of a pace merchant defensively. Bit of a liability, in my opinion.
I do wonder if Joe Gomez is the best left back option for England. But I think it would mean rejigging the back four a bit. Well, it depends what way you want to go about it. But if you're putting Gomez at left back, then maybe you want someone more attacking on the right, but then that's not a bad thing for England. But it's probably something that Southgate wouldn't be too keen on doing. So you'd put Trent there, and then there's a sort of a back and what do you call it? What's the elbow back four?
Yeah.
That's
back
been
three.
So popular recently. Three, and then Trent moves up and can move into midfield. That seems like a really good option for them, but then it means Kyle Walker getting dropped, which I can't imagine Southgate wanting to do. But then a solid back four of basically like having basically like five sort of big centre back-esque players on the pitch, very Man City-esque. With Walker, two centre back, Gomez and Rice, and then you could have, maybe Southgate would be happy enough to play two more free eights in Foden and Bellingham if he has that back five behind him. But as you said, Ali, these are all sort of questions that you probably want answered before going into the tournament. You kind of want to know your first 11. But yeah, when Luke Shaw comes back, I think Southgate probably does have an 11 in mind. But yeah, that left side is just it's a big weakness at the moment. I feel like it's a bit of a weakness in world football in general. Finding good left backs and good left wingers. There's not an abundance of them. There are clear top players in those positions, but it just seems to be a position that quite a few clubs and teams are looking for maybe someone that's a little bit better than what they have.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the winger aspect, but definitely the fullback aspect in general.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I do like England though. I think they do.
You like England? Oh no!
Yeah.
What have I just heard?
I think they annoyingly they look good.
I don't fancy them as much as last tournament, to be honest. Last tournament, here's kind of what happened last tournament is that you had a really good squad, but it just needed to get a little bit more experience, and then they got to the final, obviously, and were so close to winning it. Maybe a kick away. Then this year, there are just circumstances that don't... like the fact that Kobe Minu and Adam Wharton are included in the squad. I don't think I normally they wouldn't, if you know what I mean. Like if there's a full slate of available England players, if you had a Jordan Henderson playing at Liverpool, let's say, and obviously players get older, and
who was their equivalent in the last squad? Henderson and Phillips.
Henderson and Calvin Phillips, yeah. So, and obviously Mason Mount is in the last one now, but normally you'd have, let's say, Marcus Rashford in the squad. And there are just mainstays in the squad over the last even year that aren't there anymore. And the other options that are there just don't have that tournament experience, and that slightly worries me. And that will something that will you will have players that don't have tournament experience going into a tournament every time, except if you're if you're Ronald Koeman and you just have your trusted players and you're calling up Memphis Depay, who barely played this year, let's say, and you're leaving out Ian Matson because you haven't called him up before. Very deserving of being in the Netherlands squad, not called up, but yeah, it's the nature of it, I suppose. But like I think the fact that we don't have a solid starting 11, it makes me curious.
Somebody said we there.
We, as in the general public, don't know what England's squad is going to look like. I genuinely meant it that way, but yeah, you are right.
Virgil likes England.
An England fan.
Yeah, I'll leave an England fan.
I think. I mean, there's points there that are fair, but I think England have more of an X factor about them this time, which might not be a tool that Southgate is great at deploying, though.
Yeah.
Having a player like Cole Palmer or Eze to use them correctly and get the most out of them off the bench, but their benches, it looks like it could impact the game. But before I make that point, the players that were there in the last tournament, the really good players have gotten a whole lot better. Kane's great. Kane's probably the same, but still unbelievable. But then you've got Bellingham, Foden, Saka that have all went up another level.
Rice, Declan Rice.
Yeah, Rice as well. And Stones has gone up another level since the last tournament. So
ultimately taking a couple of pegs back this season, but the point stands.
Only from injury, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Just the fact that he hasn't played as many minutes this season.
Yeah, and then you've got although you're pointing out players that are lacking experience, but they look really, really good.
Yeah, if Kobe Mino starts, I'm not surprised.
Adam Wharton looks great. Kobe Mino looks great. All these players are coming off really good seasons. There's very good players in that England squad that are on a bad run of form where you're oh, I'm not sure about them. Dunk being one of them. But all the other players they've taken a chance on them, Gordon and all these guys, and there's someone else I can't think of now, but and the strikers as well, two different options as strikers off the bench in Watkins and Tony, and you've got a great penalty taker in Tony,
that stinks in a knockout game. Ivan Tony gets subbed on and misses a penalty. It just feels. Yeah. It really feels to me.
Yeah, it does. He gets put on at right back just for a couple of minutes, and then Yeah, but I back Tony though. Tony's pretty cold. Love
the inclusion of Iberia Eze, another really good penalty taker in my opinion, and
another good
really good player. Cole Palmer. If you get to penalties, you have a chance.
There's a lot of good penalty takers. So yeah, I annoyingly I don't mind the look of England at all. I think these are going to do all right. And I think Southgate's playing 4D chess. He's got the loss, the surprise loss against Iceland, out of the way. Pre-tournament. and now he's focused on me. Like if there's any complacency coming into the squad, that's gone now. They're going, shit, we need to put our head down and focus here. So they've got an easy enough group. Denmark, I don't think they are what they were.
We're gonna look at the other teams soon. Just for the sake of time.
I will. On England's group though.
Yeah.
Just on England's group. Denmark, they're not. They don't have Eriksson in his. Or if he's in the squad, he's not the player he was, and I feel like he was so crucial for them.
He's in
there. He's not what he was the last time, and Serbia, they're still yet to do it at the tournament. The people have been banging on about them being dark horses for years. They're still yet to do anything.
Not for me, Jeff.
So, and then Slovenia.
Not for me, Clive.
Slovenia, I was actually looking at they actually are on a decent run of form. They might actually not come bottom.
Slovenia are one of those where you could say, they're going to surprise some people. They might surprise one or two.
Yeah. I think England will get out of this group top and comfortably. And then it's just whether or not Southgate lets these players play to their full potential.
We'll see. George, prediction for England, please. Where do you finish in the Euros?
Yeah, I think Fergal's doing some 4D chess of his own there with bigging England up. But where do I predict England to finish in the Euros? I predict England to obviously heart win it, but head says I think we lose on penalties in the final.
Lose on penalties in the final again? Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. That's my head. I don't want to get too excited. I'm actually glad we lost against Iceland. It means that I'm not too excited for the tournament. I don't think we're that good.
You tempered your expectations. The wins will feel better.
Exactly. I don't think we're great against Bosnia as well for 60 minutes. So, in fact, the whole game we weren't that good. But lower expectations. We're going to lose in the final on penalties, but it's also coming home.
It's coming home. Are there any other teams? Are they all irrelevant because it's coming home, or are there other teams you're excited to kind of watch? I'll start with you, George, as well on that one.
Yeah, I'm not excited to watch, but I'm excited to see how they do. I suppose it's the same thing, but everyone's banging on about them at the moment. Is obviously not really a rival because they've not been relevant for all of history and footballing terms, but Scotland, really look like they've got a bit of a team here, and they I think they'll do well. I think they will. I think they'll get past the group. It's a really tough group, not because they've got the group of death necessarily, but because they've got
very balanced,
really, really solid teams. Yeah, exactly. It's like 4 solid teams. So, we'll see. We'll see with them, but they do look like an exciting outfit. And I actually think, and a lot of people don't like them at the moment, but I actually do think Germany as well, home nation, I think they'll go quite far. I really do. I think they'll go quite far.
I would agree with that. They'll perform better than the previous tournaments.
Yeah,
I think they've got the best manager in the tournament. Maybe the Champs, but.
Yeah,
he's the only manager that's coming off managing one of the top clubs in Europe, and being coming off the top of the game. I think that's going to be a massive impact because so many of the other managers are managers that are not at their peak. That their peak was in the past, and then they've got an international job.
Yeah.
So, he might be ahead of the curve on a few things, and it depends how much time you have to embed those ideas. But I think Nagelsmann could be a difference for Germany, and the fact they're at home always makes a huge difference.
So Germany is kind of your team to watch, Fergal?
Yeah, Germany. I think and I think England will lose to the if England don't win it. I think they'll lose to the winners. Probably. I haven't looked at the way the tournament pans out, but I'll say semi-final. It is my safe prediction, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if England do go on and win it.
Interesting.
I'd put England ahead of Germany. In ranking of teams, France. France would be the other one, obviously. But you mentioned Scotland. Scotland, I'm not so sure on Scotland. Their form hasn't been great since they qualified.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just one win since they secure one win since September the 8th, 2023.
And they're conceding quite a few. And as you said, they're in a group with Hungary and Switzerland, and the two they're going to have to beat, they'll be doing well to beat Germany, as we said. So Hungary have been a really good team in the past 2 years. I think they topped their group, their Nations League group. I might be wrong on that, but they beat England that time. And they've been playing against the top teams in that Nations League group. So I think the only thing is they lost to Ireland there the other day on Tuesday, and they looked really bad. But it was so bad that you're like, surely you aren't taking this seriously, and you're going to pull it together a bit, but maybe not. So, but Switzerland are the team that everybody always underestimates, forgets, and they consistently just turn up with players you never heard of most of the time, or like they're usually players that like they're like a solid 70 rating that you would have bought on the cheap on FIFA a few years ago, and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of remember him. He used to do a job for me. It's that sort of player, and they always do well. So I think if I was betting it, I would be saying Germany, Switzerland, top two.
Wow.
And I think Scotland have a job to beat Hungary and Switzerland. They're not easy games. Hungary, if they perform as they have been in the past couple of years, they should actually be the second place team. But they seem to just be in a bit of bad form. They lost to Ireland. I cannot repeat that enough. We've been dreadful, and they lost us. So, and it was great. It was great to get a win. It was really nice for John O'Shea. But yeah, so we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Scotland go out in the group. Unfortunately, just the way things are falling for them.
Hungary finished second in their Nations League group, 3 points ahead of Germany in third, and 1 point ahead of Italy. So did extremely well. Obviously, the third team with the one remaining team in that group were England, who finished last and were relegated. So to finish second in that group is really impressive. And if you look at their results, they haven't lost. Their last defeat was in September 2022 to Italy, and they haven't lost since, other than Ireland. So sorry.
Yeah, it was just crazy. It was on, like, I watched that game obviously against Ireland. They were honestly terrible, like really, really bad. But it was like, it was so surprising that it's like this can't be the level they're going to be playing at. Like it was such an anomaly for like this team that, as you've just said there, Ali, have been on a great run, that they must have just switched off for this game, and they need to be a hell of a lot better. Otherwise, they will come bottom if they played like they played against Ireland.
Yeah. Well, my team to watch is, I'm gonna go as far away from that group as you can possibly go. I'm gonna go from Group A to Group F, where Georgia have qualified for the Euros miraculously. Obviously, if you know me, I've worked for a Georgian team for 6 months as a scouting intern. Just a couple of years, a year ago. And yeah, it was a great experience. And I just watched loads of Georgian football for a season, essentially. So it's kind of a soft spot thing rather than anything else. Do they have a chance? No, they just don't have a chance. But I really look forward to watching them in the tournament. I really do.
Ali, just to comment, Ireland have come up against them so many times, and we usually just about get the better of them. I don't think they've beaten us off the top of my head. However,
yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
However, they have they've gone on a great run of form to get to this for them. Caveat that, and they've got Czech Republic and Turkey in their group. Turkey are on really bad form for them. They haven't lost in their last 5, is it? Or they haven't won in the last 5. I think they maybe started 1 win in 5, and that one win was against Latvia. I'm just quickly looking here. So Turkey might be a wee bit vulnerable. And
the famous dark horses, of course, Turkey.
Yeah, another dark horse team. The last Euros they were the big dark horses. Had a lot of players in form, like Kabak, that was at Liverpool.
I'm not getting fooled. I'm not getting fooled again.
They had, I think they had 3 or 4 centre backs that everybody was raving about, and I've barely heard about any of them since. And they had is it Yilmaz? Is that the big fella up front? He was the Lille striker.
Yeah,
was coming off a great season.
But they do have Arda Güler now, so that's exciting. Good. It's very exciting.
Yeah, he'll be a good player to watch. Yeah. So, Georgia potentially 3rd place and get through. I think they could potentially get 4 points. A win against Turkey, a draw against Czech Republic, I think will be their aim. But it would be a shock if they did get through. In fairness,
it would be glorious. It would be absolutely glorious if they get to the 2nd round of the Euros. Imagine, gonna happen. Speaking of Arda Güler, player to watch from each of you, and I'll take I'm not gonna say Arda Güler. It just feels to me a little bit obvious. George, who are you looking forward to watching this tournament? Who should keep an eye on?
Yeah, I obviously famously had the Mbolo watchers and listeners of the podcast.
Mbolo.
Mbolo.
Well.
Donald Breel Mbolo. I think I find this a really tough one. I think it's going to be a bit of a rogue shout.
Obviously, so I know of you, George. Of course.
But and actually, I say rogue shout. This is probably predictable from me. I think Romelu Lukaku is going to be top goal scorer of the Euros.
Wow. Again, he's back.
So if you look at their group, they're going to put goals against. They're going to put goals in against Romania, Slovakia, Ukraine. Lukaku's coming in internationally in good form. Having, I think, topped the Euro qualifiers, top goal scorer as well. So Romelu Lukaku is gonna top the group, top the top goal scorer. He's gonna get the golden boot. There you go. That's my one to watch.
Say it with your chest, George, for God's sake.
I should say it with a bit more conviction as well. He's then going to go and play for Chelsea and become top goal scorer for the Premier League.
Hey, I'm laughing now, but we'll see.
Slight segue, but I did have the Adam Armstrong prediction, and he did score in the final of the playoff.
Yes.
And he is going to go on and score more than 15 goals next season in the Premier League. So there you go.
All right. We didn't know we would talk about Adam Armstrong today.
Yeah.
Fergal, how have you picked on it?
The player who I was reminded of after watching Spain thump Northern Ireland, I think it was last night, 5-1, was Pedri. It's not necessarily my pick here, but just a reminder, this guy is one of the top players in the world. I think.
Yeah.
He's if Spain are going to have a good tournament, I think he's going to be at the center of it. And a reminder, I think the stat was he didn't give a ball away within 90 minutes against Italy in the last semi-final of the Euros.
Yeah.
While also getting, I think, an assist in that. And then in the 30 minutes of extra time, I think he gave away the ball once or twice. So like, and he wasn't passed backwards or sideways. This is an attacking midfielder we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is unbelievable, and it looks like based off is how he's playing against Northern Ireland. He scored 2 goals and maybe should have had a hat-trick actually. He's coming into it in good form. I just love watching him play. But the player I'm gonna shout out, and I'm sort of hedging my bets here because I've put down Scotland, but now I'm gonna put them up, and I'm gonna say that if Scotland do well, this player is gonna be need to be playing well and scoring goals, and that's Shanklin.
What's his first name?
Well, I'm not even sure. Let me bring it up quickly. It is
Shanklin. I had never heard. Lawrence Shanklin. Okay.
Lawrence Shanklin. He's plays for Hearts. 28 years old, and he had 24 goals in the SPL last season. He seems to be putting them in for Scotland. But if Scotland are gonna, like, Scotland could go either way. I'm sort of hedging my bets here with a shout. But yeah, I think if they're going to do well, I think he's one to watch. He'll have to have a good goal scoring run for them to do well.
Yeah, Lyndon Dykes, of course, is out of the tournament with an ACL injury.
And I don't think that's a bad thing for Scotland.
No,
Lyndon Dykes, yeah. I've never been that convinced of him. Like he's Ireland have had so many strikers like him. Like he's like Jonathan Walters. Jonathan Walters went on a great run for Ireland, and he scored some really important goals. But you're always just waiting for this run of goals just to dry up. Like it's only ever fleeting, and so Shanklin seems to be like, although it's just the Scottish Premier League, you know, still of a decent level, and he's coming off a really good season, and he scored in the last game against Finland as well. So yeah, he's my shout of who to watch. But obviously Pedri's and just watch Pedri when the Spain game's on. Have a watch of him. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's
a player I don't get to watch that often. I don't watch much Spanish league, like, so we're looking forward to it.
We haven't gotten to watch a lot of Arda Güler, but I did say he's a bit of an obvious one, but he is a real one to watch because he'll play more regularly for Turkey than he does at Real Madrid, and he's brilliant. But I will stick with Scotland, actually. I'd love to watch the Euro qualifier version of Scott McTominay, because I seem to remember McTominay in the Euros playing right center back, and he would infuriate me because he's like a box to box with Man United, and he had a really good season before the Euros, or like just when COVID happened. So in that year, it's all a blur. I don't remember, but he's like he would excel in that box crashing role, and I just want to see that with Scotland again.
Go there, you said it.
Box crashing.
I was waiting for you to say that phrase. This term has just come out of nowhere in this season.
Box crashing.
Box crashing.
I will tell you that. I will tell you that crashing the box is an old term, but I think we used to say third man runs, didn't we? It's just evolved. Box crashing seemed to just come into the fore.
I think box crashing. We're going a bit football cliches here, but box crashing to me is definitely a third man run. Well, not even. To me, it's like it's a big lump of a fella crashing in at the back. It can be a third man run, but not exclusively. That's That's how I would describe it.
That's a good point.
It feels less intricate, doesn't it? It feels less purposeful.
Designed.
More, right, let's get in the box and just get a foot on it rather than,
I made a point of this earlier in the season. I think it might have been something Harry said that was like, it was one of the other new terms that I've put in. The other one is finding separation. It is a new football Twitter phrase. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against these terms. I'm not going.
There are loads of them. There are loads of them.
Allardyce on us here, but there's a couple of these new phrases that I've enjoyed this year. And box crashing is a good one. And McTominay does sum up box crashing perfectly.
Yeah, he does.
Relationism. So Scott McTominay is one of them. He's my player to watch because obviously he's Euro qualifier top scorer. Insane. Yeah, having seen him play right centre back in the Euros. So I really look forward to what his role actually is in a full game with Scotland, because I haven't watched Scotland that much in the Euro qualifiers. I think we're saying we didn't watch much. We didn't watch much of Spain. We didn't watch much of Scotland. We're very prepared, everyone. We're very prepared. In one word, because we have to get to the Short King Awards now. Who's going to win the Euros? George.
Germany.
Fergal.
I'll play it safe and go France.
France here as well. France going to win the Euros. I did predict France to win it last time and they let me down. Now it's time, gentlemen. Sadly, Harry's not here to witness this royal celebration of Short Kingdom. But it is time for Short King Awards. Now, we had 3 positional categories, a Short King manager vote, and just general Short King of the season. Anyone from the world of football that is up 5'9" or under, put them in there. We did not have goalkeepers because they're all way too tall. Just out of resentment for the position, really. We don't really need goalkeepers in our game. Get them out. Short King of the defenders. The nominees were Jeremy Frimpong, imperious season with Bayer never losing. It's a very cringy term for Bayer Leverkusen these days, but possibly one of the better right backs in world football, if you can call him a right back, because he was practically a winger. And he's a really cool guy as well. One of my favorite interviews this season. Tariq Lamptey. Harry chose Tariq Lamptey because he's 5'4". And that's fair enough.
Smallest player in the Premier League. It's good enough for me.
Incredible.
Absolutely. Ian Matson was another nominee. I think that was George's nominee.
Yep.
And obviously Chelsea on loan to Borussia Dortmund had a really good second half of the season until he gave the ball away to Jude Bellingham, who assisted Vinicius Jr. to score the second goal. The scorer of the first goal of the final was Dani Carvajal at 5'8", leaping like a salmon at the front post and nodding it in.
I've gotten really lucky with that nomination because I picked that nomination before the final, and then not only did he score, the Short King scored a header.
Yeah, Short King scored a header.
Amazing.
Great.
Amazing.
Always great to see it.
It was fantastic. Shall we reveal the winner? Let's play a quick drum roll. Your winner of the Short King of Defenders for the season 23-24 is Jeremy Frimpong. Dani Carvajal might have had a chance after the header, but Jeremy Frimpong did win it. It deserved, in my opinion.
I think that's fair,
Over the course of the season,
He was one of the best players in the Bundesliga and kind of summed up that Bayer Leverkusen team, didn't he? In terms of what they were doing.
So many goal contributions and happens even. Like, it was playing a bit of a striker role. It was a bit of a shame in the Europa League final that he played up front by himself in the first half. But, imperious season nonetheless.
Yeah, I can't wait for Man United to sign him and then use him completely differently to how he was being used at Leverkusen, and then be terrible.
Honestly, if you
start playing like Wan-Bissaka.
There are two teams in the Premier League where if a player chooses to go to that specific team, I think less of them. That's Chelsea and Man United. Just to put it out there. It's just not the correct places to go. Okay, moving on to the short king of midfielders. Now, with some of these awards, we had different numbers of nominations because the four of us got to choose one, and sometimes we chose the same candidate. And it's not a surprise to say 3 of the 4 of us chose Phil Foden as a nominee. And then I chose Alexis McAllister just to add a bit of spice. Phil Foden's the Premier League Player of the Year last season. We look forward, obviously, all of us to watching him in the Euros. Alexis McAllister, I had the pleasure and privilege of watching him live, and he is Fergal's cousin. Yeah. So, well-deserved nomination. At 5'9", Phil Foden is 5'7", so he has that shorter edge. Shall we reveal the winner, ladies and gentlemen? The winner of the short king of midfielders for the season of 23-24, unsurprisingly, Phil Foden. Phil Foden, well deserved. I think I picked Alexis McAllister knowing that Phil Foden is probably going to win it. Incredible season, and shall I say, one of the main role players in the return of the number 10, and that's great. If you know the channel well, if you know me well, you know I love my number 10s. It's my favorite position. My favorite ever player was a number 10. My second favorite ever player was a number 10, and my third favorite ever player was a number 10. Yeah. So, there we go. Phil Foden, one of those 10s that has won this award. Short king of forwards, 4 nominees for this one as well. Wow. Starting with Mohamed Kudus, 5'9", West Ham United. So the forwards, actually, just to say, it included wingers and strikers. So Mohamed Kudus counts in that category of forwards, even though he also played at the number 10. It gets a bit complicated these days. Roles over positions and
so
all
fluid.
Of that.
Yeah.
It's really fluid. I created this award, and then the Premier League revealed its fan vote for the team of the season, and I like the way they did it. It's like 2 center backs, 2 full backs, 2 defensive mids, 2 attacking mids, and 2 forwards, or like 2 midfielders and 2 attacking mids, 2 forwards, and then the attacking mid included that whole line behind the strikers, and then you got to choose strikers. Yeah. I liked it that way. Mohamed Kudus is our first nominee. Second nominee is Mohamed Salah. That wasn't my pick, actually. My pick was Lautaro Martinez, 5'9" striker for Inter, and Ademola Lookman, who was probably a late shout. These awards did come out after the Europa League final. Who would you have picked, gentlemen, here? Because I think the result is interesting.
Was my pick Salah? Did I pick Salah?
I think it was Harry that picked Salah. It's been a while, so I don't really remember. I think it might have been Harry.
You were on codeine at the time, Fergal, so you probably don't remember very well.
Yeah.
It's
also true. But if I presented those 4 to you now, who would you pick?
I think I'd choose Salah. I think I would. He goes under, like, he's just one of these players that I think has done himself a disservice by being so good for so long, where you just go, oh yeah, but he scored, 20 goals in the Premier League season. It's not that good. And then you look at everyone else and you're like, oh well, it's actually pretty competitive, and he's done that for 5-6 years. So
the first player, of course, to go double for goals and assists for 4 straight seasons.
Yeah, very impressive.
Ever in Premier League history, which he's one of the greatest Premier League players ever.
Shame we won't have the streaks won't forget tag like Hazard does, but and Hazard's shorter as well, so it's just unlucky. Really.
Yeah, I guess. Who would you have picked, Fergal, here? I'm intrigued to know.
I thought I picked Salah anyway, so Salah on I think probably has had the best season of those 4. To be honest, it's not been an amazing season for Short Kings, if we're being honest about this. And
I necessarily disagree. I mean, Lautaro Martinez has played a main role in Inter winning the league again. Mohamed Kudus is just, I think this is the season where you could say he burst onto the scene, to use the cliche.
With
Carvajal scoring ahead in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I think it's been a decent season for Short King. The problem is that this generation is the generation that was getting rejected for being too small.
Yeah.
And youth teams were they chose physical, strength from such a young age. Mm-hmm. Harvey Elliott was cut from where Chelsea, I think, for being too small. And then now, main role at Liverpool now, like he's
it's a worrying state. It's a worrying state of in the short king, in terms of Short Kings, because you've got all the top teams are really focusing on having 5 massive players in the team, and I'm worried for them. There'll be a trickle down effect into the academies because of the current trends, and it's only going to be the very best Short Kings that make it, unfortunately.
Breakthrough.
I do think the world of coaching is better aware that physical limitations can be, worked around, in my opinion. Just from, what I see on Twitter, what I hear on podcasts and stuff like that. The kind of bias towards big people is kind of subsiding now. In the more advanced, or the academies that do better. Sorry?
Try telling Pep that.
Yeah, I know.
Probably disgusting. Playing 4-6-3 centre backs in a back four. Okay, shall we learn who is the winner of the Short King of Forwards?
Yes.
It is recency bias Short King Ademola Lookman.
Really? That is.
You know what?
He's had a great season with Atalanta, and Atalanta have exceeded expectations this season in on all levels. Yeah. To finish in the Champions League spot in the league is a real achievement. And Ademola Lookman is someone who you wouldn't have thought of in the past as one of the better forwards in the world. He certainly has been that this season, like top 15 or 20. And scoring a hat-trick in a European final for the first time for decades. I can't remember since when, but that's also huge. And, worthy of the vote, I guess. But winning, I'm not sure.
I was really glad to see him have that moment. Like, that probably will be the highlight of his career. That final. And it's always nice to see these, journeyman players that you've seen them score amazing goals and have amazing moments, and it seems like he's now got a club and a coach that has really got him going and doing really well. And his final performance was incredible.
It was. Now onto the Short King of Managers. There were really 2 nominees here that we could nominate. Really. Everyone is tall these days in the managerial world for some reason, but we did have 2 candidates 5'9" or lower. The first one is Gary O'Neill, the manager of the only team to demand the removal of VAR from the Premier League, famously. And the second is Michel of Girona, who I was very pleased to know that he's 5'9".
Brilliant.
Because Girona, obviously, real title push at the start. They obviously ran out of steam, as you do against Real Madrid. But finished 3rd at the end, which is multiple levels of overachievement, despite the fact that they do belong in the City Football Group, but that group of players, in my opinion, didn't have a right to be up that high.
No.
Shall we learn the winner?
Mm-hmm.
It is Michel. I thought people would vote for Gary O'Neill. I really did. Michel won it ahead of O'Neill. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, a deserved winner. Obviously, if you were going to go purely about who had the better season.
Gary O'Neill done a great job, though. He, a lot of people had Wolves going down or a lot lower than where they finished, and they were very comfortably staying up. He continues to prove to be a very capable manager and somebody that's he seems to be quite adaptable, a bit pragmatic, which is a nice change from some of the young managers that are coming through, where it's like it's my way or the highway. We're not changing for anybody. Whereas he's like, I know what I've got here, and I'll adapt to it.
Last but not least, it's the short king of the season. Overall, who's the short king of world football for the 23-24 season? We have 3 different nominees here with different chances of winning, in my opinion. Phil Foden, no surprises there. Gary O'Neill, I think a couple of you picked him, certainly Harry, which, you know, we love Gary O'Neill here. It's just JAFP lore.
Yeah.
And Ashley Young, this was George's pick. Why? Why was Ashley Young? What's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas, so to speak?
He deserves to be in that list simply on the fact that he is a 5'9" defender in a Sean Dyche back 4. That in and of itself is incredible. And to give away 3 fouls in the box and not get penalised once in a single game. I think he's got a bit of the dark arts about him. So, you know, deservedly in there.
It's to add to your point about being in Sean Dyche's back 4, he's also a converted winger as well.
Yeah, not just a right back, a converted winger.
I mean, the point I would disagree with. You know, he doesn't defend well. So he's a part of a back 4, but what kind of part?
Why is Sean Dyche picking him then? You know, are you questioning Sean?
Because he doesn't have any other options. Well, Ben Godfrey. There's nobody else.
What about that Ukrainian fella?
Mikolenko's left.
I think he was part of the 4th best defence in the Premier League, wasn't he? Or maybe I'm going mad.
Yeah, you are going mad.
Yeah.
No, they were.
They were.
4th best.
Really?
They were the really 4th best defence in the Premier League.
I don't know if it was 4th, but they were really high up.
I think it was.
In the goals conceded.
This needs fact checking. MJ, go on and understand comment.
No, it doesn't.
Or something.
There's no need for fact checks.
No need for fact checking here. Anyway, okay. Well, he didn't win, so we should learn about the winner. Sorry?
I could do with the fact check though.
I mean, we don't want to waste any more time. Oh, okay. Fat check. Got it. Okay. I didn't get it. I didn't get that.
Not a fat person from Czech Republic. Don't worry.
Regardless, didn't understand it that way either. Okay, the showcase of the season for the 23-24 football season is unsurprisingly Phil Foden. Congratulations to Phil Foden.
So good.
Boring as that vote might come off.
Yeah.
Man City and all of that. It's obviously he had an outstanding season, and he is the Premier League player of the season. He is part of the number 10 revolution, as I see it. So, yeah, deserved winner in my opinion.
I was going to say it's probably the nicest story of that Man City team. Yeah. Is like a genuine Man City fan from Stockport, broken into the team, and is one of the best number 10s in the world. He's terrific. Like, so fair play to him.
And it would be nice to see him now kick on. I don't know if he will, just because of how Pep rotates, but to kick on and maybe in that sort of top 3, top 5 players in the world discussion, alongside Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, and probably Bellingham now creeping in, Kane. If he can break into that and be consistently mentioned in that sort of talk, that'd be great to see.
Yeah. Okay, well, congratulations to Phil Foden. Congratulations to all the winners and nominees. It is a privilege more than you might know. Looking forward to awarding that on an annual basis, probably. We want to make that a thing. We had something on a much smaller scale last time. It was just a Twitter vote. And it got frankly ruined. I think it was James Ward-Prowse that won it last time. But Phil Foden feels like a proper winner. And here we go. Enjoy the Euros. Enjoy Copa America. We will see you on the other side. Lots of changes might be coming to the channel just because of the way it kind of progressed and things like that, and the way we want to take this forward. But we will see you for the new season. The channel lives on. You live on. The Euro lives on. I don't know. Whatever your country is, good luck to them. Thank you, George. Okay, we'll see you guys. And, by the way, shout out to MJ. He's editing our video today. If you see this box, my PC is broken, and it is officially dead. And it's coffin, so to speak. So I recorded on a laptop today, so if there were like many stops or things like that, that's probably my bad, because my PC's kaput, and I'm working on a laptop. So here we go. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, George. Thank you, Fergal. And we will see you guys later. Cheers.